Welcome to week 3 in my beginner's crochet class. This week we talked about increasing and decreasing, and we didn't really get into I guess the purpose is expanding and contracting. We didn't really get too much into understanding why it's so important, because it's one of those things that comes along as you're doing the class. Like when I do tie-in tails and we do joining colors, or if you come to the end of your tail, your ball, and you want to attach another one, we talk about that as we go. It's not a separate lesson. It's more full spectrum is how I look at it, because I used to homeschool, and that's kind of what I did. If it made sense for the subject, it could be another subject in it. Like math has English sentences in it, and it gives an opportunity to see how it's structured. Even if you're using numbers, you're saying a truth, and 1 + 1 = 2. Is it also a complete sentence? So I try to do that with when we're doing things, and so I didn't really go like, well, you have to do it this way for blah blah blah, whatever. So what we're going to do with this video is not really show what I did for the activity, because that just is a way to use what we learned. But why would we use an increase? Why would we use a decrease? The easiest way, everybody wants to do, well, not everybody, but I see a lot, amigurumis. This would be an amigurumi head. It doesn't look like it because it's flat. You have it like this. This is in the round, but it's still single crochet. And each round we do increases. Increases is just basically two stitches into 1 stitch, or however many you need for that pattern that you're working on. If you want really lumpy, you're going to do 3 in some parts, or you're going to do like the first one is going to be 6 right here, and then the next one's going to be 12, and then it's going to be increasing by 6 each time until you get to the part where you want it to start just forming a ball, and then it's just going to be no increases, and then your decreases are going to start, and you can see them a little bit better here. There's your decreases to bring the ball back in. So that's where a decrease would be. Your increases are going to be more common. You're going to see it with hats. We have a V-stitch increase, and this one's a way that I've learned to do it. So you can't really see the increases so much here, but you can right here. So this looks like it's just 1 in each space, that's what it is. But we've got 2 here, then 1 here, 2 here. So where there's 2, that's an increase. More common, granny squares. Here are your 4 basic clusters, and a cluster of 4 in this case. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4, depends on how you want to do it. If you want it a little more chunky, it's going to be 4. And so in those corners, which you created, you're going to put 2, which is increasing. And then in this corner, there's 2, but on the side, there's only 1. Increase, increase, just 1, increase, to keep it a square shape. Another example of why we would need an increase is a corner to corner. This is a beginning stitch, but I've taken it out of my beginner's class. It's going to go in my intermediate because it is a little more difficult than just plain old basic learning, because there is so much turning, there is so much understanding. You should know and really understand your increases, but it's also mitering. It's also, you're decreasing one side, increasing the other to keep it this way, or it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you decide, well, I'm going to make it smaller, and then you just have a square. I wanted to at least have a first row so we're not working off with the chain stitch. So we're looking at this one. Now, we can do our increases on the corners. Typically, you would do an increase on one side, not on the other. Turn it around, do the increase on the other side, not on the other. What I like to do is, if I start with an increase on the beginning, my decrease is going to be on the end. But it makes more sense to do it on the end first than decrease on the beginning. That's how I usually do my patterns. Another option is you can actually just skip that. And somebody even thought about that in my class. They said, oh, can't we just skip it? Yeah. That would be a decrease right there, just skipping the first stitch. But for understanding, we want to not skip that for this exercise. So we're going to do an increase. An increase, we're going to do every other one here instead of doing it on the ends. This would be my increase for a single crochet. Here is the hole. We just did 1 single crochet. We're going to do a second single crochet. We'll do just 1. Now we're going to do an increase. 1, 2. And the reason I'm doing this is I don't want it curling up on me like a coil. 1. We're going to increase here. on the end, I'm going to increase right here. So that just increased every other one, and it started to bend. Now we want to bring it back, so we're going to do decreases. We started with a single instead of a decrease, so we're going to start with a decrease for this row. So right here where we have an increase, let me start this back over. We're going to go into that first stitch, pull up a loop, go into the second one, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook, wrap around, pull through 3. We're going to do just 1. Now we're going to do another decrease in single crochet. Regular one, decrease. This one, decrease. Did I get one? No, I got 2. And we are right back to the same amount of stitches we had in our first row. Let's do double crochet. We'll start with 3 chain, wrap around, just do a single, double. Then we're going to put 2 doubles into the next one. Oops, it was a half double, excuse me. And our last one is a double, or an increase double. So we want to decrease in double crochet, wrap around, pull through the loop, wrap around, do one side, wrap around, go into the next loop, pull up, wrap around, go through 2 on the loop on the hook, wrap around, go through all 3. That is a decrease in double crochet. This is just a double crochet, decrease, or just a decrease. When you're working in double crochet, your pattern will just say DEC, decrease. Did I do a single crochet there? It looks like I did. Just do a double over top of it. And half double. Do a regular half double here. Increase. Now for the tricky half double decrease. We wrap around, pull up a loop. The next one, we're not going to wrap around at all. We're just going to pull up a loop and pull through all of the loops on the hook. So we wrap around, go through 2, pull up a loop. And unlike the double crochet, we're going to leave that. Pull up a loop, go through all of the loops on the hook. And as you can see, it looks like a half double, but it's a decrease.